Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for that question. Honourable Speaker, last year the Fiji Coronavirus Preparedness and Response Plan was prepared, outlining the Fijian government's commitment to respond to the COVID-19 challenges that Fiji is facing. While this plan has been developed with the Ministry of Economy and other ministries, including the Minister of Health, its successful implementation depends on the expertise and dedication and hard work of all the ministries and agencies across the Fijian government. The plan outlines 4 key objectives, which include: 1, facilitate preparedness of the health sector and other relevant agencies, like we are seeing at the moment, to respond to cases of COVID-19. 2, support a coordinated system-wide response to COVID-19. 3, provide guidance to health services and related agencies that are working with us for the management of COVID-19. And 4, outline key activities and responsible organizations, units, and even individuals. That includes even coordinating through with, for example, the rations that are being given at the moment, who's actually responsible for ensuring that the rations are being profiled, put into the app, and so forth, and then also the tender company that's been tendered to provide it actually goes out and provides. This plan provides details on how the outbreak may develop in Fiji and the kinds of preparedness. And at that time, we were looking towards what's the likelihood if we were faced with a situation such as we have with the Delta variant, and response actions that could be implemented at each stage. The preparedness and response actions anticipated by our Ministry of Health and Medical Services follows a strategy of initially containing and mitigation, which I've talked to this today. And to implement this plan, Honourable Speaker, we were fortunate to receive special COVID response funding in 2020-2021 budget. Even before that was a supplementary budget which had funding towards us and towards this response. And as we are now into the second wave of COVID-19 cases, we are again privileged to receive the budget announcement for 2021 to 2022 fiscal year of further 35 million, which is announced and under RIE funding. Mr. Speaker, sir, the budget allocated for COVID-19 responses is being utilized for accommodation, costs for quarantined citizens, as well as staff, expenditure for contact tracing, surveillance, monitoring cases and context. The budget would be funding the operational cost of a COVID-19 response, the procurement of consumables and medicine, COVID-19 specific, personal protective equipment, intensive care unit, consumables and biomedical equipment, digital health needs, because now we've really gone into digital health and virtual platforms for discussions. The doctors and the healthcare workers are consistently on a weekly basis, up to 3 times in a week, they're having their webinars to be able to keep them up to pace in terms of best practice. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the public health accounts audit in last fiscal year, further improvements have been made in the reporting and evaluation of the public funding for the pandemic response. The budget also factors in risk communication training and field hospital support. And we have a FIMET here in Ludala campus. The COVID-19 incident management team, also known as a COVID-19 response unit, have the operational responsibility for the implementation of these funds under the supervision of the Permanent Secretary for Health as the Chief Operating Officer of the Ministry. As the funding is listed under R, there are further controls and checks implemented at periodic release of funds. The MIT is required to draft a work plan for its financial expenditures and provide periodical acquittals to ensure that we meet robust financial requirements. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry has also designed 10 key outputs and key indicators for COVID-19 funding. And these outputs include financial allocations to the border quarantine management, provisions of equipment, risk infection control measures, digital health needs, facility improvements for compliance, fuel and transport needs, IMT operational needs, risk communication, field hospital support and outreach activities, vaccine-related support, human resource costs. Furthermore, the IMT uses the government financial rules and the Ministry of Health and Medical Services finance standard operating procedures to ensure that financial expenditures for COVID response are properly accounted and meets the necessary financial procedures. Mr. Speaker, sir, the incident management team and the monitoring evaluation framework it uses is outlined in the COVID-19 preparedness and response plan. Last year, the IMT used the World Health Organization guidance in conducting a country COVID-19 intra-action review and conducted an intra-action report. This internal review has allowed the IMT to focus on what worked well and what areas that it needs to improve on. Honourable Speaker, I thank the Honourable Member for the question.